Hello and welcome once again to another episode of our Untold Chapters Q&A. Today I have Oliver Hurst with me to talk about his thrilling crime novel Loose Ends. So, Oliver, please start us off by giving us a brief introduction of yourself and your book.
Okay, so as we said, my name is Oliver. My book is my first published book. It's Loose Ends. It's about Matthew Bartimaeus, who is a blind hitman who is very successful at his work until he is betrayed by the criminal organization that he works for and ends up having to team up with an undercover detective in order to survive the attacks on him and her and also seek revenge on those who have betrayed him.
So, what was your initial inspiration for Loose Ends?
It sort of started off from I was originally just trying to pass the time, just playing on the computer, and I came up with writing these little scenes, and I thought, well, what could make it a bit more of a challenge? And then I just sort of thought, well, what if the character is blind? And so I had to sort of think of how could something like this work hypothetically, and I just sort of built from there, really, sort of trying to challenge myself to come up with a scene that would work, and could it be believable?
Yeah, definitely. Was there, with obviously Matthew being blind, was there any sort of external resources that you used for inspiration, or was there anyone that you knew personally that helped you with coming up with these scenes and how he would navigate these challenges?
Nothing from personal experience. I used to,
Mhm.
when I was writing some of the scenes, I would sort of act them out with my eyes shut to see how to get a feel of it myself. One of the members of the church I attend, she is blind, and I've watched her. I was sort of doing a bit of observations and how she interacted with other people, how she got around. Like she'd have either things printed in braille or she had special devices that she could use, and would just talk to her and listen to how she responded when people asked her questions about her vision.
Have you given her sort of like any indicators of the book or anything, or does she
Oh,
know about it? Yeah.
yeah, no, she's read it. She's one of
Oh,
the
brilliant.
she was one of the first to have bought it, so she's got a copy, and she's already sort of read it. Well, in the sense that it's she uses a device that will take all the text and then read it to her. So she's had the
Got
book
you.
that way. But no, yeah, she's really liked it, and I told her, obviously, I
Brilliant.
used her for some inspiration of certain aspects, and she was very flattered.
Oh, bless. That's lovely. So, what did you find was the most challenging about writing Loose Ends?
Apart from figuring out sort of how to do things with someone who can't see and how
Mhm.
to sort of interact with them and their surroundings, I think the biggest challenge was, I think, just trying to make him believable. But then I always worry about with, especially the secondary character Zoe, writing a female character to make sure that it's it's hard to sort of describe really, that she's believable and it's not
Yeah.
clearly, oh, it's someone written by a man. I just wanted her to be real and not to do anything that injustice or doesn't paint her in the right light.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a really tricky thing to navigate, especially when writing the opposite gender. Where did your love of writing come from? Was it something you always thought you'd get into, or a passion that started later on?
It started later on. I used to sort of dabble when I was at school, and you'd be given projects to write a story, and I'd just sort of do the projects. Thought this is quite fun, but it never really built from there. But then when I sort of started writing these scenes, I think it was back in 2018, and then I sort of thought, I could write this. And then with the lockdowns, having more time to do it, that's where sort of the passion for it came. Thought I was actually enjoying creating this world, and then I thought, I'm going to give this a go. Why not see if we can get this out there? And here we are now. So it's sort of built from there.
Yeah, brilliant. When writing Loose Ends, was there any like specific scenes that you really, really loved writing or your favorite to write?
My favorite scene to write, and it's sort of my favorite to read as well, is
Mhm.
the scene where Matthew and Zoe have sort of they've had their first meeting and they've escaped and they're in their safe house, sort of recouping. And I really liked sort of creating their back and forth because I wanted to sort of immediately build that these two have a connection, that they have something between them as a friendship that grows instantly. And I just liked to have a bit of a playful back and forth between them where they're just either teasing each other or giving each other a bit of stick. And yeah, I liked writing that
Yeah.
scene between them.
Yeah, it's a lovely sort of banterous relationship between them.
Yes.
With both working and being a dad, how have you found balancing your time and writing? Has that been quite challenging?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Looking after children and then still doing a full time job. It's making sure to find the time to give the writing what it needs. So
Yeah.
it's I've just got to fit it in. So I do get up early in the morning before everyone else to have some quiet time to do it first thing in the morning.
Oh, that's
And
really
then
good.
if I'm at work during my lunch breaks, I've got a notebook. So if I've got some time, yeah, I'll do some bits and pages there and then type them up when I get home. So it's just finding the time to fit it in really and making sure I do give it that dedication it needs.
In the book, there was a lot of heavy references to like specific places in and around London. What did your
Mhm.
researching for that entail, or was this all knowledge that you have, or is this something you did in person?
It was a bit of all of that. So I knew like the opening scene moving into Trafalgar Square. I just remembered that from visiting there. That every time I've gone up there, we always take the same route from Charing Cross Station. So that kind
Mhm.
of got embedded in my brain. And then yeah, we every time we popped up during the writing, if we'd go out to see a show or just to look at the sights, I'd always sort of be trying to quickly like, where are we? What's this street here? What's okay? That's a point there, and try and sort of stick everything in the mind. And in a worst case scenario, I'd always have say Google Maps just loaded up in front of me so I could sort of look around and okay, that bit's there, so we can then correlate to this point here.
Out of all of your characters, is there any in particular that you favored or found the easiest to write?
I've always sort of had a soft spot for Zoe because she took a lot of inspiration from the women in my life. So my wife,
Mhm.
my sisters, I've got a lot of cousins as well who are girls, a lot of friends. So I just took a lot of aspects from all of them and what made them quite strong, independent, and they've all got their sort of strengths in their own way. So I just sort of looked at all of them and thought, well, what do I like about all of them as individuals and merged them into one person that I think could be someone that hopefully any female readers or if and when my children read the book, they go, you know what, I like this person. She's really cool.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Did you get a lot of pointers from all of the women in your life of like reading drafts and helping shape Zoe?
A little bit, yeah. They, my sisters and my wife all read the sort of earlier drafts, and my wife read every single draft. Bless her. So I think she's
Oh,
read this more than
wow.
anyone. So every now and then she might say, "No, no, you need to change this. No, we wouldn't. That's not how we would say something or act, or just sort of we'd have discussions, and it was nice to get that feedback. So you think, all right, good. So that I'm moving away from making it wrong to make it sound more real and her as a person. So yeah, I got lots of help from those who are quite willing to. My younger sister's a doctor, so any of the medical side of things, I could send her a text and say, "How do I do this?" or "Could this be done?" or "What would happen if this happened?" Eventually, she did ask why I'm asking these questions, so I explained to her I was writing a book before she called the police.
Yeah, I was going to say some things might have been a bit questionable.
There were some sort of she'd say, "Yeah, but why?" I said, "Oh, don't worry about it." And then eventually, I thought I should probably tell her what I'm doing.
Yeah, a little bit worrying.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, bless. Oh, that's lovely that they were able to assist you. So I'm aware that you're writing a sequel to Loose Ends. Obviously, without spoilers, is there anything that you can let us know that we can expect from the next installment?
Yes. So we're moving out of London. We're
Mhm.
moving into Paris.
Oh,
So
wow.
the idea is that he is moving up the chain of the family that he worked for in London in loose ends. It's now trying to get to the next level because the events of the first book. There could be repercussions. So it's to make sure he makes the first move, and that's where we're sort of leading with the sequel.
So to finish off, tell us a bit about what makes Loose Ends different from other crime thrillers.
You've got a different character than most other, say, detectives or people hired guns or anything like that. With Matthew, it's someone who is his own person, but also with this lack of sight, his blindness, it's a new challenge of how someone could be in this world and how his lack of sight could impact him in his work. And working alongside Ruby or Zoe, you've got this strong connection with a strong female lead who isn't just there to be saved. She's not a damsel in distress. She doesn't need him to protect her. They will work together as friends. And with Loose Ends, you have these two strong yet very dangerous characters who are just trying to do the right thing for not only themselves but each other to make sure that they will live and not be killed in a horrible graphic way. Loose Ends is very fast paced. It's very quick, full of action, some great characters that are based on some very real people. I won't give any, who they are. And yeah, it's a very genuine book written with a lot of experience and truth behind it.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Is there anything you would like to say or promote to conclude?
I'd just like to say thank you very much, obviously, to you guys, Austin Macaulay, for believing in it and helping me make this a reality. And obviously, anyone who's listening, please tell your friends. Please give the book a try, spread the words, and you won't regret it when you read it. You're really going to enjoy it.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you're interested in buying a copy of Loose Ends or keeping up to date with Oliver, you can find links to his socials and where you can buy his book in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time for another Untold Chapters.